Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing a 2022 model year launch and one of the most interesting aquaracers I've encountered. Tag Heuer, the Aquaracer 1000 Superdiver in titanium, and it is big. 45 millimeters in diameter by 16 millimeters thick. It's 52.5 lug-to-lug. Because of the pivoted end links, it's also sort of that distance across the wrist. So 52.5, and then a 23 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I measured it about 22.5, so go with 23 just to be safe. Taking a quick look at the watch on my wrist, it's big. It doesn't feel huge, though you can see the size of it probably necessitates a larger wrist than mine. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. There's your cuff shot. Here's your down the barrel shot. I'll let you guys decide. And then over the top. I could feel as soon as I picked it up that it was lighter than I expected, and it really does feel more like a 41, 42 millimeter steel watch. So you get a lot of mileage out of the titanium construction from an ergonomic standpoint. We have a conforming end link and then a little bit of taper down towards the bracelet. You can see here that we have a bar system that fixes the individual removable links, so you will need a block and a punch if you wish to size this, but it's a very resilient system that cannot be stripped out as screws can. You can also see we have an intermediate sized link on either side, and then we have a push button slider that can be used for fine adjustments if you just want to adjust sizing, or it can go out all the way for use over a dive suit. And this is important because this system, unlike, say, a standard Rolex glide lock, this can actually be adjusted when it's on the wrist. So if you're in a deep water marine environment and you need to make some adjustments, you can do that without risk of taking it off and dropping the watch. Nice distinction between polish and satin with some media blast. It's a nicely triple finished clasp. Thick gauge, single swing arm, twin trigger release, so it won't pop open inadvertently. You have to press the triggers. Rolling around to the case, we do have a helium escape valve in profile. When the internal pressure exceeds external by about 2 to 3 bar, this will open and release any helium gas that may build up in the watch during saturation dives. You can see it does say on the back that this is for saturation diving. And it's a deep diver too, 1,000 meters. We have a bezel that is chunky, both to hold and to hear. It's a 60 click with a nice, loud, distinct ratcheting action. We have a ceramic insert on the bezel, and we'll do a lume shot right here. No shortage. A fully lumed bezel, all 3 hands lumed. And an interesting feature, not only do they have differential lume, so you can easily tell the minute hand, which is more important from the hour hand during a dive, but they also differentially lumed the seconds hand, so it'll pop out and tell you immediately when you're underwater in the dark that your dive timer is in fact still working. Most people would use a mechanical dive watch as a backup dive timer, but hey, in a life and death situation, both your primary and your backup need to be foolproof, and this one is. No shortage of lume here. Taking a look at the dial, we have lateral striations, and you can see that the faceted profile of the individual indices matches the 12-sided bezel. So the faceting of the bezel is the same as the faceting of the indices right there, which is a nice piece of design parallelism. A vintage-inspired broad arrow, hour hand, and then we have orange varnished seconds and minutes for easy reading. The watch does feature a screw-down crown with this depth rating. I should think so. We have hacking seconds, and we have a quick set date. And unlike a lot of aquaracers of the past, this one actually has some horological interest. It's not powered by an ETA, it's not powered by a Sellita. It's powered by a Tudor Kinesi movement, very similar to what you would see on a Pelagos. But we've got the caliber with a 70-hour power reserve. It's based on the 5600 series Tudors. It's got bidirectional winding with ceramic rotor bearings, a 70-hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate, quick set hacking, 5-position adjustment, COSC chronometer certification, 28 pivot joules. That 4 hertz beat rate oscillates on a full balance bridge with a free-sprung balance architecture for precise adjustment and durability. So you get everything that you would expect in, say, a Pelagos with a more robust wrist presence and something that's got a little bit of a different look, feel, and ambiance about it. And of course, you could see the case back has this mirror of the fastening of the bezel. You see it again in the features of the diving helmet, especially on the view port, and then on the base beneath, that recurring motif. It's very cool, looks great, and actually it's one of the most interesting Tag Heuer divers I've seen in a while. It's sort of like the Sea Dweller or the Deep Sea of the Aquaracer family. It's the upscale one with all the toys. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.